Which famous horror movie slashers got the fit that don't quit? And which famous slasher got the mask that looked like trash? We're about to find out today. Greetings everyone, my name is Nightshade. This is The Night Shift, a home for all things spooky. And normally we have like a horror movie mask design that we unbox and review here on the channel. However, we got nothing today. And we didn't have anything last week either. But I can't stand to not shoot a video, so we're doing something a little bit different. So today we're taking specifically horror movie slashers and ranking their overall costume design. I'm not judging them off of anything else, just overall appearance. If somebody looks super cool but is kind of trash in the movie, that's not going to play into a factor of just the design of the character. And these are just my opinions, of course. Like if there's somebody on here that you think has a perfect character design and I rank them lower, it's fine, it's whatever. This is a subjective list and should be treated as such. So without further ado, let's go ahead and look at the tier list. So here is our tier list. We've got Dress to Kill, which is the god tier level of character design. Staying Spooky, where it's still pretty good, but it's not the best. Subpar Slasher, which is going to be, you know, middle of the road, not super dope, but not super bad, not anything egregious or anything like that. We got Slash and a Mist, where it's like, it could be a lot better, but it could be a lot worse too. And then we've got Back to the Drawing Board, which pretty much means this character needs an overall redesign in character, in my opinion. And we've got our slashers down here at the bottom. This is something that I just threw together last minute, very last minute, so I'm sure there's a lot of people missing, but we're gonna work with what we got here. So up first, we've got Michael Myers, and he's definitely going into Dress to Kill. This is one of my favorite horror movie slasher designs ever. I mean, it's just a pair of overalls, some boots, and a mask that they spray painted white. And it's the simplicity of that makes it look so awesome. And also just the way it looks in the darkness and the overall fit is just mwah, chef's kiss. All right, so up next we have Jason Voorhees. I got the part 4 version because that's one of my favorite looks of the character. But I mean, there's a lot of different looks for Jason to choose from. Maybe in like a couple weeks or so, we will rank all of the Jason Voorhees designs on their own. Who knows? Let me know if you want to see that. Let me know in the comments below. So Jason is going to also go up in here and Dress to Kill. I just feel like the overall simplistic character design of somebody wearing regular clothes and just rocking a hockey mask, and that's their entire fit. I think that's a really good, really successful character design overall. And I mean, come on, it's Jason Voorhees. Of course he's going to be in the iconic Dress to Kill list. Up next, we have Sir Frederick Krueger. And I think he's going to go into Slash and a Mist, and I'm just kidding. He's definitely going into Dress to Kill. I had you there for a second, didn't I? But yeah, I mean, the razor glove, the fedora, the burnt face, the striped sweater, it's all absolutely iconic. And I mean, there is just absolutely no way that it's not an iconic and not put in Dress to Kill, right? So up next on our list, we have Ghostface, and he is another one that's going into Dress to Kill because, I mean, you know, we love Ghostface around here. You know, we're a huge fan of Ghostface over here, and I just love the idea that it's based off of a Halloween costume that anybody can get, and anybody could don the Ghostface mask and become Ghostface. And I really like it. It's very simple, it's pretty awesome, and yeah, I promise they're not all Dressed to Kill, I swear. This is and I did not set this up in any particular order at all. This is just the way that it showed up on Tier Maker after I uploaded the thumbnails, and yeah, so I swear to God, that's not just going to be all Dressed to Kill. So up next we have Art the Clown, and he is going in he's going in Staying Spooky. Overall, I do dig the design. There is just something about the face prosthetic. It feels like it's missing something. I don't know if it's the nose or if there's just something about the face It needs a little something more or something dialed back. I can't quite put my finger on it, but I mean, overall the design is pretty cool. All right, so up next we've got the Babyface Killer from Happy Death Day to You, and this is going straight into back to the drawing board. I do not like this mask at all. I don't like this overall character design either. Like, a baby doll mask should be creepy, but this one, for whatever reason, just does not capture a creepy vibe at all. And I think it looks rather dumb, actually. All right, so up next we have Tony Todd as the Candyman, and this one is going directly into Dress to Kill. I mean, it's almost a flawless character design. You know, the fur coat, the fur on the coat, the hook for a hand, and then just all the horrifying imagery we get later on in the movie and in the franchise as a whole. Definitely going into Dress to Kill for sure. Up next, we have one Charles Lee Ray, and he is going into Dress to Kill because I really do feel like they hit the mark where they were trying to on this killer's design. Definitely does achieve the look of like a Cabbage Patch Kid meets a My Buddy doll, which is the two inspiration dolls that they just kind of mashed up together, and they definitely nailed it flawlessly with Chucky. All right, so up next we have the Creeper from Jeepers Creepers, and this is going into back to the drawing board. I've always hated the design of this character. I mean, I know that there's a lot of controversy with the director of this film, but even before that, I hated this movie, and I've also always hated the Creeper look itself. Just really does not do anything for me. Yeah, just like the face design, the overall outfit design, it really doesn't do anything for me. And I know a lot of people love the Creeper, but I don't at all. All right, so up next we have Gabriel from Malignant, and one of the newer slasher villains to have graced the horror scene, and he goes in subpar slasher. The reason being, I think that they could have done the makeup on the back of the head a little bit better. I do like that he's a backwards man.
Backwards man, the backwards man. Backwards man, the backwards man. I can walk backwards fast as you can. I can walk backwards fast as you can.
Also, the long black hair is really cool. The weapon that he uses is pretty cool, but the overall design of the face of this character could have been done a little bit better, I think. But it's not the worst thing I've ever seen. It's just not the best thing I've ever seen either. So that's why he's going into subpar slasher. Maybe we will get a sequel to that movie and they will update the overall design of the character, and we might change our tunes here on the night shift. So up next we have everybody from the movie Haunt, all the Haunt actors in their costumes, and this is going into Staying Spooky for me. Now this would have gone into Dress to Kill, because I do love all the designs of the masks and the costumes. However, whenever they take the masks off, it kind of looks dumb. I don't really like the devil in particular. Everybody's just got these body modifications, and you know, usually like that's cool, but it's just a little too overboard for my taste, and yeah, so that's why they're definitely going into Staying Spooky. Up next, we've got the Killer from Hellfest, and this is also going into Staying Spooky. It's a simplistic design, and I really do dig it. There's just something I feel could have been done a little bit better, and yeah, so he's going in Staying Spooky for sure. All right, so up next we have the Man from the movie Hush, and he is going into Staying Spooky. Now, I do love the design of the mask and the overall outfit that he wears. It's unfortunate that, you know, for the majority of the movie, he takes the mask off and he's just a guy, and it just kind of loses the appeal of this character for me. I think it would have been a lot better if he would have just showed the chick his face and then put the mask back down and continued wearing the mask throughout the rest of the movie. I mean, that would present some issues in the plot of the movie going down the line, but for me personally, I just think that would have been a little bit cooler than just having a guy in this movie. So up next we have John Carver from the movie Thanksgiving, and he is going into subpar slasher. It's not the best design, but it's definitely not the worst design I've ever seen in my life. I think they could have tweaked the mask a little bit better and it would have been more efficient. The costume design is really cool, however, the overall mask and everything like that just doesn't really do it for me, so he is going into subpar slasher. However, if there's a sequel of this movie and we get an updated version of the mask, I will do an updated version of this list. So up next we have Leatherface, and this is from the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre because I think it's the best masks in the entire franchise. So that's why I went with the killing mask, and he is going into Dressed to Kill for sure. Like, absolutely iconic mask and overall character design. Like, he's got the apron, you know, signifying that he's a butcher, so you kind of get everything you need to know from this character just by looking at him. And I really do like it when it's all kind of spelled out for you and you don't really have to wait for more story to go along. You just kind of already know what this guy is about. Alright, so up next we have Leslie Vernon from Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. And this is going straight into Slash and a Miss, our very first Slash and a Miss tonight. And the reason is because I don't really like the mask. Now don't get me wrong, I do love this movie. I love everything about this movie. I love the plot, the story, and the overall everything about this movie. However, I just don't like the mask. Even the overalls and dirty shirt is fine, like it doesn't bother me. It's just the mask looks a little too derpy for my enjoyment, and that's just my personal tastes. I can't get behind the mask. Like, if it was a little bit smaller and a little less derpy looking, I think this could definitely be in the staying spooky category or even subpar slasher, but for me, it's just going to have to go into the Slash and a Miss category. So up next from New Year's Evil, we got the Killer's Mask from that, and this is definitely going into staying spooky. I really do love the looks of these old masks, these old character masks. I think that's an awesome way to go whenever it comes to designing a slasher. It looks like a store-bought mask, and honestly, like, in the real world, somebody's going to go and get a store-bought mask if they're going to do mass slasher killings. Like, a lot of serial killers don't, know how to make masks or anything like that, at least that we know of. I think it looks cool without trying to look cool, so for that reason, it's going into the staying spooky. It looks menacing without even trying. It's just something about that mask is creepy as hell. Alright, so up next we have the Miner from My Bloody Valentine, and this is going to go into Slash and a Miss. Now, I do love a good gas mask, and there's just something about this design that doesn't really do it for me. I don't know if it's the weapon, the fact that he's using a pickaxe to kill, or if it's the helmet on top with the light. I don't know, something about this just doesn't really stand out to me and never really has. And I've tried to give it a fair shake, it's just, it doesn't really do anything for me, so we're gonna go ahead and put that in Slash and a Miss. Alright, so up next we have Tommy from Fear Street, the Camp Nightwing killer, and he is going in Staying Spooky. Now, I don't normally like any type of sack head killer. It doesn't really do anything for me. I think it just kind of looks dumb when people have a sack for a head. It's got sculpted in detail, so there's actually like some form of a feature there. It's not just some potato head looking guy. Again, it's still a sack on the head, but it's one of the better iterations of a sack on a head for a slasher. So that's why it's going into Staying Spooky. It's not quite good enough for Dressed to Kill, but it is like top tier sack head slasher design. So up next we have the lead Cenobite, aka Pinhead, and he is definitely going into Dressed to Kill. I really do love the overall aesthetic of Pinhead and the rest of the Cenobites. Now, I am a gothy boy, and their outfits are super sick, super cool, and I love their overall design. as well as the pins in the head. That all looks magnificent. Mwah. Love it, love it. So up next we have the slasher from Playing with Dolls, and this is going into the staying spooky category. This mask was created by my friend Alex, who is over in the UK and also created the Red Angel mask, which was the very first mask we used for this channel. And Alex did a phenomenal job of like taking the Red Angel mask and adding a lot more stuff to it. It's got a lot of real barbed wire and real wiring in the mouth, and just the overall design is really cool. And Alex, if you're watching this, I think you knocked it out of the park. So up next we have the Angel Killer, I think is what they're calling it, from It's a Wonderful Knife. And this one is going into Subpar Slasher. Now, I do like the overall simplicity of the mask. The mask is actually really cool. However, the overall outfit, the white robe, looks a lot like a Klansman. And for that reason, it's a little bit lower on my list. I mean, there is probably a way they could have done this a lot better, like adding gold accents to make it look more like an angel or more angelic in design. But just being a white robe with a white mask it doesn't really do it for me. There's a fine line between less is more and less is least. Like, they needed to add a little something more to this overall killer design, and I think it would have benefited greatly if they did. So up next we have the Fisherman from I Know What You Did Last Summer, and this one is going straight into Slash and a Miss. I remember back in the day whenever I first watched this movie, I thought it was super cool, but then later on in life whenever I rewatched this movie, I'm like, it's kinda lame. I do like the idea that they are in a small fishing town and everybody wears a slicker and has these hats, so the killer could be anywhere at any given time. I think that's a cool concept. However, I just don't think the execution of this killer looks that great. But that's just my opinion. I know a lot of people have a lot of love for the Fisherman because of nostalgia and they just love the movie. But for me personally, even though I do enjoy these movies, I don't really enjoy the design of the killer. Alright, so up next we have Skull Mask from Fear Street 1994, and this is going directly into Dressed to Kill. I don't have a bias or nothing. I love the idea of a black hood, a white mask. I mean, come on, look at me. But yeah, I do love the overall design of this character because much like Ghostface, this is just a costume that you can get at a store, and I just like the idea that anybody could do that and anybody could be a slasher because anybody can get these costumes. Yeah, that's why it's going into Dress to Kill, because I love the overall design and I love the overall look and aesthetic of this killer. Alright, so up next we have the Sweet 16 Killer from Totally Killer, and this is going directly into Subpar Slasher. I do enjoy the mask, however, it's just too big, it's too tall. Like, the overall design is pretty cool. It's supposed to be Max Headroom mixed with Dolph Lundgren, and they kind of meshed the two ideas together to create this mask. And the overall design is really cool. It's just too big. Like, the proportions look kind of ridiculous in any given chase scene in this movie, but the movie itself is a lot of fun, and you know, the overall design is cool, the concept of the movie is cool, it's just the mask is a little too tall for me and it really takes away from the seriousness of a chase scene or a murder scene. So that's why it's going into Subpar Slasher, but you know, I don't hate it. Alright, so up next we have the Collector, and he is going straight into Dress to Kill. I do love the overall design of the Collector himself. I think it's a fantastic design, just all black everything, and he's a very tactical killer, so he would want to be in the shadows, and so it makes sense for this killer to be wearing all black everything, even down to the mask. And yeah, just a really phenomenal design, and I really do want to get a Collector mask into the collection. My collection, I'm the Collector. But yeah, I think I will definitely be looking into getting one of these for the channel and have him chilling in the background somewhere. So up next we have the Grabber, and he is going directly into Subpar Slasher, and the reason for this is many. I have a very love-hate relationship with this mask. I love it whenever it's the frowny face and he doesn't have anything else. It's just the half mask. But whenever he's got the big horns and then the big smile, like the traditional grabber mask, I don't really like it that much. It reminds me of this specific mushroom head mask, which is cool for mushroom head, but I don't really want to see it in my horror movie. I do love that the mouth is interchangeable and he could be happy, he could be sad, or he could be blank. I do like the concept behind it. It's just the execution wasn't really done that well. I also have a theory that any horror movie that Ethan Hawke is in is going to be trash, and it's kind of been proven true. Alright, so up next we have the slasher from The Town That Dreaded Sundown, and this is going directly into slash and a miss. It's not going completely back to the drawing board for me because, I mean, it is scary because old school racist people used to wear sacks on their heads whenever they were going out lynching, and the thought of that alone is absolutely terrifying. So the symbol in and of itself creates and generates fear. However, I think a sack on the head is a very lazy design for a slasher. So that's why it's going into slash and a miss. So up next we have the Cupid mask from Valentine, and this is going into staying spooky. The mask itself is overall creepy. It's a very innocent looking mask, and it's doing very nefarious things. And I love that concept whenever it's just not trying to be scary. It's giving the context of what the person wearing that mask is doing makes that mask scary. So that's why it's definitely going into staying spooky. It's not perfect by any means, which, I mean, that's holding it back from being in the dress to kill category, but it is definitely staying spooky. And the very last one we've got is Victor Crowley from the Hatchet series, and he is going into back to the drawing board. Honestly, I don't really like these movies. The overall design is kind of whack. The fact that he's got a lack of a mask and that's supposed to be his actual face kind of doesn't help him either. I don't know. I don't really like the vibe of Victor Crowley at all. It doesn't do anything for me, and, you know, therefore it's going into back to the drawing board because I think they could do a lot better with this character. So that's my list. I'm sure not everybody agreed with how I ranked these, but I mean, you know, these are just my personal opinions. And for being a last minute idea, this was something that I actually had a lot of fun doing, and if you guys would like more videos like this, let me know in the comments below. I am more than happy to oblige. And that's just gonna about do it for me. If you liked the video, let me know by leaving me a like. Comment down below what you want to see on the channel next. I will do my best to accommodate. And until next time, my name is Nightshade. This has been The Night Shift, and I will see you in the next video. Stay spooky, my friends.